Hi all, this is Once and Future Gamer and welcome to another Pokemon Challenge, the first of the year 2024, even though I am writing this bit in 2023. Ah well, last time we finished out the year with a run through Carlos as we sought to see if I could beat Pokemon Y with just a single Riolu. Interesting challenge, rough end. Today though, we head back to Generation 2 and see if I can beat Pokémon Crystal with just a single Dratini. Dratini is a first form pseudo-legendary. As they used to, until Dreepy and Arctibax came along, it has a 300 base stat total, with the best stat being attack and the worst being HP. Our special stats and speed are all at base 50, so that's okay for a first form Pokemon. We're weak to Ice and Dragon, we resist all three starter types plus Electric, so we are pretty well sorted there. Our natural learn set isn't too fantastic, so we do get some Dragon moves, but none of them are particularly good. Twister will be okay at the start, I suppose. Slam is nigh on useless due to the accuracy. It's supposedly guaranteed to hit 75% of the time, but it only does that 30% of the time. Outrage has the confusion drawback. Hyper Beam has a drawback of recharge. Oh wait, these are the only damaging moves we get. Safeguard may be useful somewhere, but I doubt it too much. I think most of our best moves will come from TMs. We can get Headbutt, Hidden Power, Icy Wind, Dragon Breath, Return, Swift, Surf, and these are probably the optimal moves. There's Blizzard, Thunder, and Fire Blast too, plus Iron Tail if I want to gamble with accuracy, which is not always something I'd like to do. The rules for the challenge are on the screen throughout. This challenge was suggested in equal parts by Forgiveman and Jason Cabannock. As always, if you have any ideas for future challenges, head to the comment section down below or follow the links in the description to my Twitter or my Discord. If you enjoy what you see, then like, subscribe and ring that bell. I use the Universal Pokemon Randomizer and replace Cyndaquil with Dratini so that I can do the whole run with the Serpent. I don't think it really mattered what I replaced the starter with from the rival's point of view, since Dragon resists all three starter types, so that's what I went with and I'll stand by it. I nicknamed the Dratini Caesar. Why not? I've made up my mind to do this and it will be awkward if the Dratini is female, but I stand by it regardless. The Dratini isn't female, which is good because apparently male Pokemon are stronger in this game. I travel to do the first bit of the game and eventually we have the first rival fight, but this shouldn't be an issue, even with our mediocre moveset. After all, we can level up quite drastically for this fight if I really wanted to. Well, maybe not. Dratini does level quite slowly, I believe. Even after all this time, this line is probably still my favourite pseudo-legendary. I like a lot of the others, but this one is always the first one I think of. With the exception of Baxcalibur, there's not many I did like after Generation 5 when it came to pseudo-legendaries, to be fair. The first bit of the game is brutal with Rap, I'll say that. It's weak and it's inaccurate. Yay! Rival fight isn't too much to talk about. Rod, or the guy who'll be called Rod sooner or later, just has the Totodile. And even though it isn't as if we're going to resist the Scratch, we're still suitably trained enough that we can fight him off with little difficulty. The problem is Rap. It's not the greatest move in existence, so when the fight begins, I combo our moves, starting with Thunder Wave to paralyse the Totodile, and then I launch a Rap at it to begin giving it chip damage. Then, with it taking damage over time and also risking paralysis, I start to use Leers on it. The scratches it does land on us don't do massive damage for sure, but it not moving is a massive benefit. 3 Leers we land and then we go on the offensive, bringing it down with Rap attacks, though one of them does miss because, of course. Next major fight is the Violet City Gym, and I really want a better move than Rap for this, but unfortunately I don't think I'm going to get one. Using Rap while mud-slapped, yeah, that just isn't going to be fun. I already know and can tell this, but we do get Twister, which is at least a 100% accurate improvement ahead of the fight. Wouldn't say it's a major improvement, but an improvement regardless. Pidgey is a 2-hit with Twister. We get hit in exchange, but it's not a problem. We can shrug that attack off. Pidgeotto is a bit more of a tough turkey. It takes 3 Twisters before we bring it down. We do get a flinch off our first Twister, so we avoid taking damage for a turn. We do get hit with a Gust, but it's not a problem. Gust and Twister have just about the same animation. 1 badge down. On the road again, and I really want to plough ahead as fast as possible. I'm recording this bit on Christmas Eve, which is on a Sunday, so I at least want to get the return TM as an option before the day rolls over. I just want to get to that point, but it is nice walking down the road. We've got the Bug Gym and a rival fight before we can get that TM, so I'm feeling pretty confident we can get that far, that fast. After kicking Team Rocket out of Slowpoke Well, we have the Bugsy battle, and I'm not sure this is as easy as you might think. Bugsy can be somewhat tricky, believe it or not. Even the Metapod and Kakuna are capable of causing problems. This sounds like I'm getting my excuses in early. Mind you, we saw what happened in the Riolu challenge when I thought fights were going to be easy. Metapod is a 2-hit with Twister, only going for Harden in exchange. It can be annoying because it does have a string shot, which isn't ideal if we get hit with it. Twister is special though, and ignores the Harden. Kakuna has a Poison Sting, and we all know how poison works in this game when it's used against us, but we get a flinch off the first Twister and take it out with a second. Cypher is last, and it hits like a train with Quick Attack. Since I have Thunder Wave, I utilise it to stop it in its tracks before starting to hit Swifts. That move is an upgrade on Wrap for sure. Each Quick Attack does about 10 points of damage, which is roughly a fifth of our health at this point. So when Cypher does get fully paralysed, it is a relief, and we can soon bring it down with a flurry of attacks for a welcome win. Rival fight then. I don't anticipate this being too worrying, but we will have to see. Things could get worrying at the start if we are unlucky, so we need to be careful. I've had some well documented problems with Ghastly in the past, so that's something to keep in mind. Ghastly went great though. We flinched it with Twister, which means no danger of Hypnosis and or Spite, and then we take it out with a second Twister shortly after. Zubat is almost annoying. It survives our Swift and confuses us with Supersonic. That's not good, but we fight through confusion on the next turn and take it down with another Swift. Croconaw is last. We shake confusion off and go on the offensive. We hit that with a flurry of Twister and Swift attacks while it counters with Scratch attacks. That is probably Croconaw's best chance of damaging us. They do okay damage, but we are capable of tanking them, and we just about do more damage, and it's not long before we bring it down. Okay, next fight is versus Whitney and the Satanic Cow. Oh yay. Mind you, it might not be that bad. It might not necessarily be that good either, it's worth pointing out. I can't remember the last time I actually had a troubling Whitney fight in Gen 2. This one, when we get to it, is closer than you might think, as we cannot one-hit Clefairy with Dragon Rage, and we get double slapped as a result. But it's a low damage roll, a low turn roll, and we shrug it off before we can finish the Clefairy off. But let's face it, the Clefairy here, kinda not the issue. Miltank is faster and goes to Stomp, but thankfully there's no flinch, or that would have been fatal. We land Thunder Wave, and suddenly her speed advantage, bye bye! 2 Dragon Rages do take Miltank out, despite us being dropped onto red health with another Stomp. That hurt a lot, but we got our badge. I have some options now. In Ecruteak City, I get the HM for Surf, and I'll be teaching Caesar this move most likely at some point. I am tempted to go to the Lake of Rage early and see what our hidden power type is, but to advance the game truly, I need to beat first the rival, because this is Crystal, and then Morty, and I'm not sure that Morty will be an easy fight given our moveset. Nothing we have can be super effective against these ghost types, and if we try with Twister and or Dragon Rage, I think we will be murdered quite quickly. Return's not going to work. Let's try the rival fight. This is something that could end very badly, but we just about get through it. Haunter survives Dragon Rage, which bodes well for the next gym, and then ends itself with Curse, which is bad because we are on a timer now, and it's only Gen 2 mechanics that save us from a loss. Magnemite survives Dragon Rage and blasts us with Sonic Boom, and we are amazingly lucky that it didn't go for Supersonic or Thunder Wave, because that probably would have ended us. We take it down with Twister. We crit Swift on Zubat, which is massive because I don't know if that would have one-hit it otherwise. And finally, although Croconaw does hit Leah, the curse damage doesn't end us, and we can take his starter down with 2 Dragon Rage attacks for a win, and that is a relief. I do take a walk over to the Lake of Rage for hidden power just because I am curious. It might give us something that can be useful for Morty. I think with our physical attack stat being better, ground type might be about the best possible outcome. So, we do neutral damage to a Noctowl. So, it's not ground, it's not ghost, it's not electric, ice, rock, bug or grass. Interesting. I think further tests are warranted. Using it on Eradicate tells us that it's not fighting type. A fight with a Zubat yields neutral damage, so it's not the psychic type. Against a Marill, it's not very effective, so it's either water, fire or steel. I don't know how much any of those might help us. And a fight with a Geodude confirms that it is either water or steel. I need to find a grass type to test it out on, don't I? I do find a Bellsprout and confirm that it is probably water type. Well, this was a huge waste of time since I can learn Surf, which, in my humble opinion, probably the best water move you can get in any game. I head for Morty at level 36 and I might just have to rely on Surf and Dragon Rage. I have taught Caesar Return, but as I said earlier, won't be much good here. So, we need to be able to be overpowering Morty. We might have enough in our arsenal to do it. I still think Gengar is going to be a pain. It usually is. I'm right, you know. We can one-hit both Ghastly and Haunter at the start with Surf. But when it comes to Gengar, we get outsped in short order and it goes for Hypnosis. Unfortunately, the move lands and we can get free hit with Dream Eater to give us a loss in this battle. I think we could have Fortune if Hypnosis doesn't land, so let's just try that again. On the very next attempt, things work out well. We take Ghastly out and discover that we cannot one-hit Haunter without a crit on Surf, which is a bit annoying, but we only get hit with Nightshade, which not too bad. Gengar misses 2 Hypnosises on us, and that's absolutely massive, as we hit a Thunder Wave to slow it down, and then we take it out with Surf and Dragon Rage. That is massive, as we take the second Haunter down with a pair of Surfs and only get hit with Nightshade in exchange. 4 badges down. I've got choices now. I could do the Rocket Hideout, or I could head over to do the fighting and steal gyms. Screw it, let's go and battle Chuck. I'm not intimidated by him in the slightest. We should be okay for Jasmine after 2, but worst case scenario, I swing by the Rocket Hideout first if we can't beat them. Our first attempt versus Chuck ends badly, and it's probably because we're just not quite strong enough at the moment. Primeape survives return on what has to be 1 or 2 HP, and that's annoying, but we then get hit with Leah, which also annoying, even as we take it out. Poliwrath takes just about less than half its health from return, which massively annoying as it goes for Mind Reader, and then after surviving a second return on red health, we get put to sleep with Hypnosis. Yeah, I kind of feel like we're going to lose now, and then I'm proven right as we get 2 hits with Dynamic Punch. It hits the move twice in a row, and let's not talk about how annoying that 50% accuracy move landing twice in a row is. What are the chances? Probably about 1 in 4. Probably. I'm not a gambler. I go and get another level and stroll back in to try again, just to see if this makes any sort of difference. Well, it does and it doesn't, if that makes sense. We can one-hit Primate this time, which, pretty massive, but Poliwrath is still just about that bit too tanky. It still takes less than half its health from return, it lands the Dynamic Punch the first time, and although we fight through confusion to put it on red health, we are not so lucky the second time. And a combination of us hitting ourselves in confusion and the dreaded Mind Reader and Dynamic Punch combo stops us from winning this time. I may come back later. I stop Amphi from dying and I begin the fight with Jasmine. I am hoping that Surf can carry us through this fight. That's what I'm hoping for anyway, though the reality may be somewhat different. We shall have to see. This goes so badly, it's not even funny, as we don't even get past the first Magnemite. Yep, that's true. It takes about 3/4 of its health in damage from Surf, then paralyses us and confuses us in consecutive moves. We never get the chance to land another move. We hit ourselves 3 times in confusion in a row because of course, and we also get chipped down with a few Thunderbolts which soon drain our health and we go crashing down. Screw it, I'm going to go clear out the Rocket Hideout for levels. While I am doing this, how about some Dratini trivia then? In early English language promotional material for Red and Blue, it was referred to as Dragoon, largely probably selected as a combination of Dragon and Lagoon. In Gens 1 and 2, both Dratini and Dragonair can learn Hyper Beam via level up, but not by TM, though this was fixed in Ruby and Sapphire. It and its evolved forms share their category with the entire Horsey line, Salamence and Colossian Goodra, as they are all known as the Dragon Pokemon. It appears to be based on sea serpents or Ryu, traditional Japanese or Chinese dragons who bring good luck. Its constant growth is similar to that of snakes, who grow as long as they live. Its reclusive nature, aquatic habitat, and that it was considered a myth for a long time make it reminiscent of the Loch Ness Monster. Its name may be a combination of dragon and teeny, tiny or mini. According to the Pokemon Shield Pokédex entry, the lump on its head is a horn that is still growing. According to the Pokemon Sun Pokédex entry, boots made from its cast-off skin are a super luxury item. While I am doing this, I do learn Safeguard, which I think will probably deal with both the issues I had versus Chuck and Jasmine. So, I'll head back and see if not being able to be status conditioned makes a difference. I also found out while doing research here that Safeguard does block confusion from Outrage. Now that's good to know. When we face Chuck, Primeape fails with Leer when we go for Safeguard, and then we take it out with Return to give us a quick knockout. Next is the Poliwrath, and we strike it with 2 returns to take it down, while it only goes to Mind Reader in exchange, and that doesn't do a whole lot as we take it out. Back to Jasmine then, and this time it's very, very personal for sure. I think we should have enough to get past her here and now with no sort of trouble. I do want to get these fights out of the way now that I have a means to before going up against the Ice Gym. Anyway, Safeguard gets us out of the hole in this fight as it blocks the first Magnemite from paralysing us with Thunder Wave. Take that, you metal piece of trash! 2 Surfs take it out, but we do have to shrug off a Thunderbolt. No big deal. The second Magnemite is the victim of a high damage roll, and we end it quickly with 1 Surf, nice, before we have to face the Steelix. We strike it with Surf to put it on red health, though it does hit us with Iron Tail. That's no problem because she heals it next turn, and we get 2 free shots at it to bring it down and give us the next badge. It's Ice Gym time, and this may be rough, Dragon types being notoriously weak to that type. But hey, it's not like Price is ever a challenge. Not really. There's a first time for everything I suppose, but will that be today? Nope, is the answer. Not even slightly. Usually, the most annoying thing about Price is the slidey around his gym, but when we get to the fight, we take Seal out with a single return, but usually it's Dugong who turns out to be the annoying one here, and it duly survives our return and then hits an Aurora Beam, but we can strike it down on the next turn before Piloswine is last, and a Surf takes it down hard to give us 7 badges. We've got Team Rocket next to deal with, and the main event is the Goldenrod Underground rival fight, so we soon get that underway. Again, there's possible status problems, but Safeguard may be the order of the day to help us. His team isn't that highly levelled, so we may be able to overpower him, but no point taking chances. We go for Safeguard versus Golbat, and it tries to confuse us, so that didn't really work out for it. Worked out fantastic for us as we drop it with 2 returns, but we do take a wing attack in exchange. Magnemite goes down to Surf before Haunter does survive Surf on the next turn, but takes itself out with Curse. Idiot. Sneasel goes down to return, which is nice since that might have been tricky, but Feraligatr is last and it survives return, but only lands a bite, which is no problem at all, and we can take it out at the second attempt. Let's go on. So, while I am going through Ice Path, this seems as good a time as any to quickly go through what's going on with the channel. So, we had a bit of a lull over Christmas. I didn't release much beyond the Riolu challenge, and that was just for me to have a bit of a break. Hopefully, by the time this has aired, I've gone back to doing Pokemon Master Showdown. I have aired the last of the Indigo disc, I've got those Bayonetta episodes out of my folder, and well, at the time of writing, I don't know what else I have planned. Pokemon Challenge wise, next time, we've got one that may be excruciating. It is the first Fire Red challenge since October, when we did the Bug Moves challenge, and it's going to be Pokemon Fire Red with a single Azurill, whatever you want to call it. Yep, I can already tell this is going to be bad. I have a recollection of the previous time I did Fire Red with a baby Pokemon, and it was not any sort of good at the end. We'll see. As always, if you have any ideas for future challenges, head to the comments section down below or follow the links in the description to my Twitter or my Discord. Always happy to see what you come up with. I do have more requested challenges lined up for this year so far. It was something I feel like I didn't do enough of last year. Time for Claire then, and this could be something approaching brutal, since she is as weak to us as we are to her. It may not be as bad as it could be, but what do I know really? Safeguard will help, but it's just a case of if we can avoid getting murdered in the interim by an errant Dragon Breath. I was worried that they had Outrage for a moment, but at least we don't have to worry about that. Okay, it goes badly. I overestimate how much damage Return will do, and as a result, Dragonair number 1 survives the attack and hits us with Thunder Wave. We do take it out from red health with a crit return on the next turn, the most unfortunately timed crit ever, and we've already been hit with Dragon Breath. We never get fully paralysed, but being slower every turn is lethal as we take a whole bunch of Dragon Breaths, but at least with Outrage we can one-hit the Dragonairs. Both 2 and 3 go down without too much issue, but we've got 1 solitary hit point left going into Kingdra, and we go down. Okay then, I know what I need to do. Let's try that one more time. I made an error of judgment last time, and it is not going to happen again. There is a trainer in the gym who has a level 37 Dragonair, and I always use that as a barometer. Normally it works, this time it didn't. 1 Safeguard to block the Thunder Wave at the start, and then we go on the sweep as Outrage tears through her entire team, wrecking all 3 Dragonairs with no sort of issue. That leaves us with just a Kingdra fight, and a 4th Outrage takes it down in 1. I guess Safeguard really does block Cell Confusion from Outrage. How about that then? Well, all badges down for now. We have a rival fight before we enter the Indigo Plateau, and again, I'm not entirely worried, but we will have to see what happens. On the Elite Four, I don't think Will is going to be an issue. Jinx would probably hit us hard, but it is fragile, so we will be fine if we strike first. Slowbro and Executor probably will survive hits, but the rest of the fight shouldn't be too bad. Koga is going to be Koga. Again, His team isn't the most sturdy. Muck and Crobat can be annoying, but we should be fine. Fortress could be a bit of a wall, but hopefully we can surf it down. Bruno, I'm not even slightly concerned about. Surf and return all the way, but Karen is liable to be hard. Her team is that awkward combination of bulky, good types, and able to hit us where it hurts. So, I'm not sure. Lance, it's a coin flip. Either we beat the Dragonite or they beat us, but I think Aerodactyl could be rough too. On to the rival fight then. Sneasley's first, and I'm not taking any chances. We crash into it with return and strike it out hard. Sneasel was unfortunate in Gens 2 and 3 before the physical special split. 2 stab types it could not get the best out of. I safeguard versus Golbat and it blocks the Confuse Ray before we take it out with 2 returns. Magneton is third, it survives Surf on a Sliver. Very annoying, but what can you do? But it does only hit Sonic Boom before we take it out. I put another safeguard up versus Haunter, just in case it A, survives and B, uses Hypnosis. But it only goes to mean luck, and on the next turn we surf it down. Kadabra is a one hit with return before Feraligatr is last, and although it hits a slash, we take it out with 2 returns to give us the victory. Let's look at our stats then. We are at level 59, and though our attack is decent and the rest of our stats are pretty even, with speed just about being the best of them, I still feel like we are probably a bit underpowered. I'm not even slightly sure that we are going to be able to do it at this level, but let's see what happens. Someone is going to wall us for sure, and I think it will be Karen until we are at a higher level. Take your guesses on if I can do it at this level or not right now, folks. Oh, incidentally, does anyone want to take a guess on why I nicknamed this dragon type Caesar? If you guess, I'll nickname a Pokemon after you in an upcoming challenge. It's nothing to do with salad, by the way. Let's get this started then and take Will on. Like I said, not exactly sure how this is going to play out, but we should have enough to get past him. I believe that very firmly. Well, let's see how it goes. Xatu number 1 is a simple takedown with return. Awesome, great start. Jinx also goes down to a single return. Even better, I knew that was going to happen. Executor is where it starts to go wrong though, as it survives return and hits Leech Seed. This costs us as, although we take it out on the next turn, we cannot 2-hit Slowbro with return, thanks to it recovering health, and we take a Psychic attack as a result, which does decent damage. So, we're hemorrhaging PP and health. This is looking promising, especially when Xatu number 2 survives return and ends us with Psychic. Okay then, so I'm going to go and get a few more levels. I think we might need them since this was supposed to be the easiest of the fights. At level 65, I give this another try. This time it goes smoother as we can battle through the fight with little issue. We down Xatu number 1 and Jinx with return before we face Executor. And again, we can 2-hit that opponent, but again, we get tagged with Leech Seed. That does minorly trouble us versus Slowbro, but we can 2-hit it with return now, thanks to the boost in our power. Xatu number 2 only barely survived last time, and it doesn't survive this time thanks to our boost, so we down it with a single return. Let us move on to Koga then, and I'm feeling a bit indifferent about how our chances may go here, but they could be fine. We do lose, but it's not due to anything that we did really badly. Ariados and Venomoth are pretty easy to beat. They both go down to a single hit of return before Fortress is next, and that one is a 2-hit with Surf, though we do get hit with a Swift when we put Safeguard up. Muck is a 2-hit with return and Outrage, but we do get tagged with Sludge Bomb. Crobat is the problem, as it goes for several double teams. We cannot land a blow that takes it out, which is massively infuriating, and it's made worse when he does heal it, and ultimately, we do get worn down over the course of the fight with wing attacks for the loss. I try again soon after, and go again a few levels higher, so we will see if we can do better this time. I am reasonably confident. This time, we lose because Fortress used Explosion, Muck used Sludge Bomb, and Crobat had Quick Attack. Hold on, that seems illegal. I did check Bulbapedia, and it does get that move via breeding. Oh, okay, fair enough. third attempt goes well. We down Venomoth and Ariados at the start with return. Those two are never even close to being an issue, but the third opponent, Forretress, is annoying once again. We hit it with Surf, it goes to Spikes, and then we safeguard, just so Muck or Crobat can't poison us. It blows up again, which massively annoying. Muck only goes to minimise this time, so we don't get damaged, we take it out with return and Surf before Crobat is last. It just about survives our return and then goes for double team before he heals it. We do get lucky though and our attacks land, we hit return and then Surf to bring it down and we can move on. Bruno then. I am a bit worried about our return PP, I know that much, but this shouldn't be too bad I guess. He never usually is. This is going to be famous last words, isn't it? It is pretty easy, I'm not going to lie. Hit him on top, goes down to return, which massively handy. Versus Hitmonchan, I go for Safeguard and it hits Ice Punch for a whopping 20 points of damage. Ice Punch was special rather than physical, go figure. We take it and Hitmonlee down with Outrage before we down the Onix also with Outrage. We hit Machamp with Outrage but our Safeguard has faded and we get hit with Cross Chop before fighting through the confusion to bring it down with return. Well, it was nice to have an easy fight. Karen then, let's get this one going. I'm really worried about Umbreon because it has that sand attack. Gengar might be rough too since it has Curse and decent special defense, so I doubt we will one hit that, but we'll have to see. Mind you, this also went incredibly well. So, Umbreon only hit us with Feint Attack and we shrug that off to 2-hit it with return. Oh, that's nice. I go for Safeguard versus Vileplume. I've been paralysed too many times by that overgrown plant and going to Outrage. We do get hit with Petal Dance, but meh. Gengar is a one hit with Outrage and Murkrow doesn't survive an attack either, meaning we are facing Houndoom at the end and a single Surf is enough to bring it down. That was built up a bit too much in my head. Lance then, how can we do here? This could be worrying. I suppose we'll have to see if the baby dragon can beat its big daddy opponents. We can but only try. Let's do this. This goes... well, this was ridiculous. Gyarados is first and we strike it with return and it only goes to Rain Dance. I misjudged slightly here. I go for Safeguard and we get hit with Hyper Beam. I could have done that a turn later, but it's done and we take Gyarados out with Surf. Versus Dragonite number 1, we hit Outrage and it wrecks it hard. We then do exactly the same thing to Dragonite number 2 before Aerodactyl is 4th and we wreck that with Surf. Charizard is 5th and again Surf takes it down. Well, this is going well. We hit Outrage on Dragonite number 3 and absolutely demolish it to give us the win. Well, holy crap, I didn't expect it to go that well at all, but here we are. With that, we've beaten the champion, we can enter the Hall of Fame and the credits roll. So then, we know what's next. It's the post game, it's the trip to Kanto and the fights with Blue and Red. The rest of the Kanto gym leaders aren't worth talking about, so I won't, but Blue and Red are probably the hardest two fights in the game. Well, I've never found Blue too bad, but Red is for sure. Not so much here, Gen 4, he's terrifying. Anyway, when it comes to Blue, Pidgeot is a 2-hit with return, but it does land a wing attack in exchange. We're about to gen too early for Blue's Pidgeot to be an issue. Gyarados is a 2-hit with return, it only goes to Rain Dance in exchange before Alakazam is 3rd, and this thing can't stand up to the return we hit it with. 4th is Rhydon and we take it out with Surf before Executor is 5th. This could be annoying, but we do crit our return to take it out and give us a battle with Arcanine. It does land extreme speed, but we take it out with Surf. Now, I'm not sure we are anywhere near strong enough to take on Red at this point. I think I will need a few more levels. I feel like we are going to get outsped by Pikachu for sure at this point, and I don't think that will do us any favours. I go and tackle the Elite Four a few times to boost our level, just to be safe. None of Red's Pokemon are going to be easy. We've not got that much of a level advantage come this point, and they are all stronger than us. Pikachu has Charm, Espeon has Reflect, Blastoise has Blizzard, so they all have ways of messing with us. Snorlax has Body Slam. I need to be a lot stronger to take them on at their own game, just to give myself the best possible chance. I believe that very firmly. We are nearly at the end now, I can smell it in sight. Just currently waiting on some TCG to arrive. I've got a Silver Tempest booster box and a mystery box I'll be opening on the channel, waiting to be delivered. I don't know if some of that will have been uploaded by the time this is uploaded. I do hope as well to have gotten back to Pokemon Master Challenge for sure too by this time. It feels like we did the draw for the next 2 rounds ages ago, but with the holidays being upon us, Christmas and New Year, we haven't done the Book vs Avery fight or the Kabu vs Aaron one at the time of writing. Oh, I will point out though, this is recording audio OFG. We have recorded both of them. The Book vs Avery fight went up last weekend, so yeah, the Kabu vs Aaron one should be day after this one. Yep, Elite 4 Aaron got drawn again, but this time I have to be the one to fight him. I really hope my opponent doesn't copy my strategy from when I used Aaron before, of using Raw and Toxic Spikes combination. I have a cunning plan if he does. At the time of writing this, I just damaged the headphone jack on my PC, so I was waiting for a USB adapter to come from Amazon to replace it. I got slightly confused and made the fatal mistake of trying to walk away while wearing the headphones, and now sound doesn't come through properly. Oh dear. Anyway, I've been rambling. Red, let's make a try of this and see how it goes, or we'll discover if I need more levels. We may have enough. I think the absolute priority is being able to outspeed Pikachu, because this becomes levels more harder if we can't, because of frigging Charm, which is a killer in a single Pokemon run if you are a physical attacker. And Return is still probably just about our best move, given our better physical attack stat, and the fact I don't need Safeguard to use it safely. Anyway, we do outspeed Pikachu and down it with Return. Nice, that's massive. But the next opponent is Blastoise, and our Return does about a third. Way less than we need to be able to take it out in 2. It goes for Rain Dance, and I chance a Safeguard because I want to try Outrage. But we get hit with Blizzard, we do survive Blizzard, and then it survives Outrage and takes us out with a second Blizzard. That's going to be a problem. I wonder if the accuracy debuff in the rain was a thing in this generation. I wonder if that was a thing at all, or I'm just making it up. I keep grinding and come back at level 89 just to see what happens. I hope this is enough. I'm not entirely sure though. And again, we lose to Blastoise. We just can't quite hit it hard enough after it lands 2 Blizzards and survives 2 Outrages. This is going to be awkward, but I suppose we are getting closer. I have an idea. I don't know how it would work, but it could level the playing field against Blastoise. I suppose a super effective move would help. There is a move tutor that appears in Goldenrod City on Wednesday and Saturday, and the time of recording is Wednesday. Let's do this. It goes better. Burts. Pikachu is a 1-hit with Return. Blastoise is a 2-hit with Thunderbolt and only goes for Rain Dance. Espeon is a 2-hit with Return, which is a little worrying, but thankfully it only goes for Psychic and not Reflect. Snorlax survives a bunch of returns and paralyses us with Body Slam, which pretty much ends our chances of victory. That's massively annoying. Right, I'm going to use our rare candies and try this at nearly max level. This seems a good course of action. Level 98 goes well. Twice it went well in fact, since I did it once and then realised I'd forgotten to record it. It's a good thing that it wasn't an effort where I needed an enormous amount of luck. I've had runs like that before where about 4 or 5 things need to go right to get the victory. Pikachu goes down to Return. Blastoise goes down to 2 Thunderbolts. It only uses Rain Dance. Espeon survives Return and goes for Reflect. Massively annoying. I take the chance to use Safeguard, but we get hit with Psychic. Double duty. It wastes turns and stops us from being paralysed by Snorlax on the next turn. Snorlax tanks a bunch of returns before we finally bring it down when the Reflect fades. Venusaur goes down to 2 returns, only trying to charge up Solar Beam before the Charizard is last. It survives Surf and hits us with Flamethrower, which isn't too bad, before we bring it down to give us the victory and we can draw a line under this challenge. I never was really worried about Charizard or Venusaur, I'm not going to lie. Well, this was fun and a great way to start the year for sure. Not too bad, but I think there's going to be worse challenges ahead. Like next week, for instance. Thanks for watching, folks. I hope you enjoyed. As always, if you did, please leave a like, drop a comment and subscribe away to keep updated and help the channel grow. If you have any ideas of future challenges, head to the comment section down below or follow the links in the description for Twitter and Discord. Join me again next time, folks, for another Pokemon challenge as we see if I can beat Pokemon Fire Red with a single Azurill. I'm expecting pain. I've not got too much to say in the outro, so I am going to jump off here. I will say thanks for watching, take care folks, and I will see you next time. Bye bye now, so long, see ya!